Prop firms are in deep trouble. You probably are in a stage where you don't really know which prop firm you should choose, because with everything that is going on in the industry, it's kind of tricky to understand which company is safe. And one other thing is that prop firms are changing rules for their clients every single week. And if they are not changing the rules, they are denying payouts. So that is even worse. But we gotta understand is why this is happening. Why prop firms are starting to fail and what can you do to keep safe? The reason prop firms are in this stage is because the business model is no longer viable to continue. And this may be contradictory with all these new firms surging every year, but that is the truth. And please let me explain you why this is the truth. For that, we got to go back to 2021, where companies started to surge in the prop space. 21, 22, and 23 were three major years for the prop firm industry. A lot of the firms you know now were funded back then. And some firms started with a very simple approach. What do traders want? And what they want, we will give. That obviously generated a price war. Not only a price war, but condition war, rules war, everything. Every prop firm was competing against each other to have the best rules, the best price, the best trading conditions. Some of those prop firms were TFT, Funding Pips, Funded Next, and even MyFundedFX. They were competing for all the things that we talk about: price, discounts, rules, profit split, you name it. And you reach a point where the 100K challenge is worth less than $400, which is actually crazy if you think that back in 2019 FTMO was charging more than $700 for a 100K challenge. And we got to a point where some companies managed to get some crazy prices, crazy profit splits, great conditions for traders. So obviously that created a trader paradise. And some other companies saw that the business model was not sustainable and basically fixed their prices. In those companies, if you want a 100K challenge, you need to pay more than $500. And they basically don't have almost any discounts in the year. But the question is, why the price is the problem now? Why firms are raising the prices? Well, let me explain you, and this goes back to the beginning of the year. This goes back to meta quotes. Exactly. Everything started with meta quotes. When companies started to use CTrader, TradeLocker, MatchTrader, and other platforms, they weren't prepared for some expenses. Before these trading platforms were our reality now, we had MetaTrader. And on MetaTrader, what happened was that prop firms pay a third party, and also they pay to a broker to use their MetaTrader license. Didn't matter the amount of accounts they created. Now the new reality is that prop firms pay directly to the trading platform for each account they create. So let's imagine a scenario of a two-phase challenge. The first phase, they need to pay for one account. If the trader passed that one account, he goes to phase 2, which is again another payment, another account. And if the trader passes phase 2, he gets a funded account, which again is the third account they need to pay for that trader. And imagine if the trader reach a payout. If a trader reach a payout, they need to pay the account, they need to pay the payouts, and also the refundable fee, which again is very bad for the prop firm. Now, other companies started with another strategy. That is, they charge more if you choose one trading platform instead of the other. That way they can mitigate a little bit the risk. As you can understand, with all this situation created, the companies are having a lot more expenses than they were back in the day. Now the question is, what is the solution for the prop firms? And how is this solution going to affect us as traders? Well, I would say that we are starting to see some of these changes. So this is not something new what I'm going to tell you, but The first thing is the prices are going to increase. So I would say that the price will stabilize right around the price that FTMO has their 100k challenge. Now the second thing is that refunds, well, they maybe start being difficult to get because prop firms will make it difficult for you to get a refund, or they simply eliminate the refund. Funding Pips already has the refund in the third payout. Blue Guardian introduced the refund in the fourth payout. And other companies like MyFundedFX simply eliminated the refunds. Which again, if you think about it, makes sense. We shouldn't have the refund. This is a service that we pay. And if we want to make money, just make money. But the refund, there is no refund. That makes sense, but obviously, if other companies are doing refunds, we need to take advantage of that. Now, some companies may refrain of doing this, but they will do something else. They will increase the number of rules they have. Consistency rule, news rules, max risk per trade, and I'm hearing some talk even about a profit limit, which is crazy, and I don't think the companies that would implement that would have much success. But let's see. Now you need to understand that this industry is very new, very recent, so we are in a phase of adaptation. We are in a phase to understand what works and what doesn't. And believe me, this industry is not going to disappear. And the proof of that is the big brokers are getting into this space. We already had Ohanda Labs Trader. We had IC Funded, which belong to IC Markets. And by the way, they are very competitive. And I would say that one big difference that these guys, these big dogs, bring to this game is the experience. Because the reality is that the majority of the industry, the prop firm industry, as we know it, is run by influencers or people without any real experience in a big business like this. So, to finish off, my little piece of advice to you, if you don't want to get disappointed with some firm because you didn't get the payouts, or they breached your account, or they did some shady thing, whatever, just go with firms that know what they are doing. Which firms, may you ask? Well, one, you already know it, is FTMO. They have been here for much longer than any other firm. And the other one is Alpha Capital. I believe these two firms are very, very solid. Obviously, I could call other firms like the Fivers, etc. But these are the ones that are the most known among traders. And believe me, it's better to pay a little bit more for your challenge than to have a shitty experience with a prop firm. So, be aware. See you next time.